LeBron James.
Air Jordan.
Who is the true greatest of all time? What's up, know-it-alls? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm David, and this is Joey. This is one of my best friends from elementary school, just two friends that started a sports talk show on YouTube. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. We really appreciate that. And let's kick this one off, guys. MJ versus LeBron. Who's the GOAT?
Air Jordan.
Hey, man, I'm saying
Michael
LeBron.
Jordan.
I'm going with
No.
LeBron.
No, that's just that Miami Heat in you. You're biased, so that's why you're saying LeBron. But real basketball fans know the truth. Michael is the greatest of all time.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
He is.
All right, let me hear your argument. Best argument.
Best argument? I mean, I feel like it's lazy to say that, 6-0,
Get
but
out
it's
of here.
true.
If you say 6-0, get out of here.
It's true. Listen, Michael Jordan has never failed at the biggest stage the way LeBron James has. I mean, we could talk about the fact that LeBron James has just simply gone up against super teams the past couple of years and all of this, but you would never ever see Michael Jordan's life put up a performance the way LeBron did in 2011 against the Mavericks. That was just that should take LeBron out of the conversation for me. Like, I know he's gotten better, he's won titles and all that now, but it's in my brain. It's seared in here. Whenever I think of like the GOAT, I just think of LeBron James not scoring in the fourth quarter. I just can't do it. And you know what I do think about? I think of Michael Jordan hitting the game-winning shot over Utah, over everyone else. He was just lighting everybody up. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I'm telling you.
First off, just a fact check. We weren't old enough to watch him, so we don't have memories of watching this happen.
That is true.
You remember highlights, but you never watched this, man.
Listen, YouTube is our friend. Just because we didn't watch them live doesn't mean we can't have a good opinion on them.
That's one thing I wish. I wish we were old enough that we actually saw Jordan. I mean, we saw him when he was on the Wizards, but we were still young. How old were we? Maybe 10 years old when he was on that team. So even then, we still didn't fully comprehend. We weren't super into sports at that point in time.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I wish. I wish I was able to see it so I could have an unbiased opinion. But LeBron's my guy. I grew up watching him. I am, full disclosure, I am a Heat fan. So when he came to Miami, I fell in love, man.
Miami was live back then.
I fell in love.
Listen, there's no doubting that LeBron is like the better all-around player. Like, skill-wise, talent-wise, I'll admit there's so much more that LeBron James can do on the basketball court than Michael Jordan could. Now, you could say it's because Michael Jordan was never asked to do the things that LeBron is doing currently in the league, but at the end of the day, LeBron is better, but he's not greater.
So that doesn't make him the greatest of all time.
No, it doesn't.
If you take again with my aliens, all right, you go back and aliens come down from the sky and they watch both of these guys play. Who's a better basketball player? That's what I'm asking. Who is the greatest basketball player of all time?
There's a difference.
The question is not who has the most championships.
No,
the question
I'm
is
not saying that.
Who has the most MVPs. Who is the most prestigious career? It's who is the greatest player of all time.
That's two different titles. This is my hill I will die on. That is two different things. LeBron is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, but Michael is the greatest basketball player ever.
In what world?
That we live in.
Should we look up the definition of what the greatest means? You literally just said he is the best player. If you're the best, you're the greatest.
No, he is the best, but he's not the greatest. I don't care how dumb that sounds.
Dude, get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, so interesting point that you brought up in the beginning. MJ never failed, right?
Yes. Never. Not once.
It's funny how we rewrite history books and we forget certain things. I think it was the first 7 years he never made it out. He never made it to the finals, and he failed every year against those bad boy Pistons. Couldn't beat the Celtics until they got old. Same thing with the Pistons. So how is it okay that he fails before he even makes it to the finals, but LeBron is demonized for making it to the finals at a younger age and failing there? Why is it that when someone fails before the finals, it's not as bad. And then when they fail in the finals, it's the worst thing in the world.
Because failing at the Eastern Conference Finals is different from failing at the finals, because at the finals, you are at the highest level of competition. If you fail there, that is more embarrassing than not even getting there to me. Because
you would rather never make the finals than go to the finals every year?
I would rather never make the finals and never put up a freaking performance like you did in 2011.
I'll give you that. That is the one thing that LeBron has on his record. That is the only blemish, the absolute only blemish. Every single other finals loss is justified, in my opinion. But that's the only thing that, I mean, that still hits deep with me. I'm a Heat fan.
Yeah.
So.
And another thing that we but the great thing about Michael Jordan is he did it all with one team. Just think of the legacy. How dare you? all the all-time greats, Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, they did it with one team. And you know what? That goes a long way with legacy. I mean, you can look at Kobe, Paul Pierce is nowhere close to being up there on the top of the mountain, but he is up there with like Boston sports, because he was a Celtics pretty much his whole career. I'll forget about the Nets and the Wizards stints he had with them. But the fact that Michael Jordan was able to do that his whole career with one city, one team, I give him more credit for that than LeBron, who's sort of been. I mean, I know he was at Cleveland, went to Miami. He had to go. That's another thing. He had to go to Miami to win his first title. Not his home. He didn't win he would be so much better if he won that first title with Cleveland.
You think so? I don't think it matters. I think the fact that he won. I think that he won one already with Cleveland. He's good.
I mean, he's good.
You think it would have been more prestigious to win the first one in Cleveland? I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a decent argument. I mean, I can't argue anything different than that. But so backtracking. So I think you can't look at everything in a vacuum. It can't be all like absolute. You have to understand the context of the generations that they played in. I mean, this NBA, Kobe was like the last guy to kind of die out of that generation. Like guys don't stay in the same, like it is what it is. And whether you want to say LeBron started that, because I know the argument is a lot of people say that LeBron started player mobility and he was the one that deep-seated, rooted, ended the league and killed it with all these super teams, whatever you want to say. But I mean, it is what it is. It's different generations. You can't really compare that, in my opinion. But also, back to what you said, how he stayed with the same team and he did it all and he wore out all the way with Chicago. You have Phil Jackson there his whole career. I mean, that's another thing. Context of career. It's not everything's not created equal. You can't just say, oh, he's a simply better player than him. You got to look at level of difficulty. So again, looking at that, who has LeBron had as a coach? Arguably his best coach thus far in his career has been Eric Spoelstra, which is a good coach. I'm not going to lie. I like Eric Spoelstra.
You mean you wouldn't put Eric Spoelstra up there with
Phil Jackson?
Who? Phil Jackson. I can't remember. You wouldn't put them side by side?
Exactly. So that's my thing. Like, this guy had a coach for the majority of his career. He had no reason to stay. They were all every year they had a loaded squad. Once they started winning, they had Pippen and they got Rodman. And I mean, like, that accounts to something, no? I mean, LeBron, everyone says this guy's loaded roster, always going to loaded rosters. When he went to the Heat, he took Cleveland as a 24-year-old in 2007 to the NBA Finals, arguably until last year, the worst team ever to make it to the NBA Finals. Then after that, it was 2010, he goes to the Heat. Everyone's like, oh, he joined a super team. The Heat we got an 8 seed and we were bounced in the first round by the Chicago Bulls. Yes, we had Wade then, but then it's not like Kevin Durant, which is a different argument for another day. It's not like Kevin Durant where he hopped on a team that already won a championship. LeBron went to Miami and built a super team. Yeah. Does that make sense? It's different when you hop on a team versus when you build a team. So he went and built something in Miami. Then when he went back to Cleveland, in his letter, he even said it. He was like, guys, don't expect championships right away. This is a growing process. That team was terrible. Kyrie Irving was not Kyrie Irving at that point. He was just a nice little point guard. Everyone thought had potential. He wasn't an all-star.
Future New York Knicks.
Kevin Love wasn't there at the time. He signed with Cleveland before Kevin Love even went there. So all this LeBron's chasing super teams, and then he just went to the Lakers. The Lakers have nothing on their roster. I mean, they have a couple decent prospects, but now with LeBron on their team, they're just going to be risen to the next level. But it's like this idea that LeBron is just this crazy super team chaser, just it's all about rings, is ridiculous. He builds these teams. Like, he is this quintessential piece that builds these franchises to become contenders.
I mean, listen, we just sort of veered off into a whole other argument.
Yeah.
I don't think LeBron, started the whole super team thing, because I agree with you that Kevin Durant joined an actual super team. LeBron joined a 40-win team, and they tried to piece it together.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, going back to the Michael Jordan thing. I mean, yeah, he had Phil Jackson, he had Scottie, but LeBron had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. I mean, I feel like the talent sort of evens out. I mean, besides Scottie, I mean, Rodman was really good, but he wasn't like Chris Bosh good. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Bosh was an offensive monster. Rodman was just there, rebounds and defense and all that.
If you go back and you watch those playoff runs with the Heat, I think only that first year when we played Dallas, that was the only year that Bosh and Wade were completely healthy and playing at an elite level while LeBron was with the Miami Heat. And same thing goes for Cleveland. Every year, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, out, in, out. I don't think there's ever been a superstar that's been riddled with injury. Just his team. Just had the worst luck with injury on a team. And I'm not counting that as it makes him better.
Sounds like you're making excuses.
Things happen, but I've never seen it where this guy, I feel like every single season, he's looking for a guy just to give him a little bit. Like, every time he's in the final, he's like, can someone just give me a little bit?
At the end of the day, he's always stuck with the J.R. Smith.
Dude, I know. All right, so let's get back on topic with MJ versus LeBron. So a couple things for me. LeBron's going to average more points, more rebounds, more assists. Is that irrelevant? Does that not matter?
That is irrelevant.
How so?
Because it's a different generation. It's a different league. The league has evolved to where those numbers are expected. Like, if you look at the NFL, soon enough, Matthew Stafford is going to be top 10 in all-time passing yards. I mean, does that, is he one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? No. And I sort of think that with all sports. Of course, the more these athletes and people evolve, they're going to get better at shooting and all this. So of course he's going to finish with more points and all that. That doesn't mean anything to me.
What about the bigger, faster, stronger argument?
I mean, yeah, I said he's the better player. I admitted that, but he's not the greatest.
Sounds like I'm changing your mind.
No, absolutely not. I told you this is a hill I will die on. He is the better player. He can do more, but Michael Jordan is just greater. He knew how to rise to the occasion. He never failed in the finals.
So thank you for adding that.
At the highest level, he never failed, and that just says it right there.
And this argument that he's once he got going, he never lost, that's BS also, because he lost to Shaq and Penny when he came back that year. So,
Okay, I mean, they all have their failures. I mean,
I'm just saying, people pick and choose what they want to remember about sports history.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me how when you lose in the finals, it's permanent and everyone remembers it. But if you lose in the Eastern Conference or the second round, no one cares. Oh, it's all good. But if you lose in the finals, that's terrible.
Yeah, but years down the line, people are going to say, oh, LeBron led his team to 8 or 9 straight Eastern Conference finals, championships and all that. But, no one's going to remember that, the East during that time was just terrible. Of course he's going to lead them to the finals every year.
The whole time. The Pistons were good for a while in the beginning.
I mean, who was their competition?
Indiana was good. The Bulls were good. The Celtics were a big three. The Celtics were the squad.
You look at the West, and that shit is just.
No, of course. I'm not arguing that. I'm just to say that the East was just rollovers is kind of. I don't know.
I mean, it was because look.
It was an easier path than the West, for sure. I'm not debating that. But it's not like it was just a bunch of chumps. There were decent teams out there.
I mean, look at last year. Like last year, you said like that was like a terrible team, like the Cavaliers, and we still expected them to go to the finals. Like that's how easy like the East we thought it was. You know,
Yeah.
with like no Kyrie Irving, but Kevin Love's their second best player, and we still said like, yeah, they'll probably make the finals just because the East is so trash.
Yeah. My last argument would be if you want to build a franchise around a player.
Oh my god!
If you want to
this
get
argument.
the most out of a team with one player, Jordan is great, of course, and I mean, they're 1-2. Can we agree that they're 1-2 in the world of all time?
Only if you say Jordan is 1 and LeBron is 2.
Okay, they're 1-2, 1A and 1B. But I think LeBron can do more with less. I think he can carry lesser talented players and maximize them as far as their talent-wise and get the most out of them and get the farthest in the playoffs to the finals with the least amount of talent, whereas Michael Jordan would probably be the best player on a great team because he can be that one sole leader, whereas LeBron can kind of, I don't know, what's the word, like catalyze everything around him.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, Michael Jordan was never in that situation, so we don't know for sure whether or not he would have done that. I mean, luckily his teams have always been, I mean, like you said, Phil Jackson was his coach most of the year, so those teams were always more stacked than LeBron has been working with. So, I mean, I said what I need to say. I'll admit, you know, LeBron is a better basketball player, better all around.
All right, I win.
No, you don't win.
You just said LeBron's a better player all around.
He's a better player, but Michael is the greatest. He is the GOAT. It is G.O.A.T, not B.O.A.T. You like that one?
I did. The only thing Jordan does better than LeBron is a jump shot, mid-range jump shot, and that's it.
Yeah, but neither of them could shoot threes. Michael Jordan was never.
LeBron the past couple seasons.
Yeah, he can hit threes, but he's not shooting them. You know what I mean?
Last year?
What? Oh my! Last year, whatever. I mean,
see him in LA.
He's gonna be that should say something. That LeBron is probably like one of the best 3-point shooters on that team.
He probably actually is, honestly.
That's terrible. That team is going nowhere.
Yeah, they have no shooters.
They really
They
do.
should sign Ray Allen.
I mean, Ray is in shape.
That guy will forever be in shape.
I mean, you're not asking to do much. Literally, just run to the corner, and we will give you the ball. Just shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything left?
I don't know. I said what I needed to say. I said my piece. I'm living with it. I'm ready for people to bash me. That's fine.
Well, all right, guys. That's going to be it for this video. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to comment down below and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. Let us know in the comments what you liked and what you didn't like about Joey's argument. And tell me how much you liked my argument.
No. Tell us who won. I really want to know this.
Yeah, tell us who won. We're definitely going to make more videos about this. We could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. Yeah, so LeBron's the best, right? That's what we concluded with this video?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, know-it-alls. Right. We'll see you guys in the next one, and have a great day. See you guys.
See you later.
Do the shimmy for him, bro. All right, guys. See ya.
See ya.